This meeting of City Eureka Springs City Council come to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Terry McClung.
Here.
Mickey Schneider.
Here.
Dee Perkypile.
Here.
David Mitchell.
Here.
Joyce Zeller.
Here.
James DeVito.
Here.
We have 6.
Please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Brings us up to approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Changes? Go as in order.
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Schneider.
Number 4, under unfinished, I want to postpone to the next meeting, please.
Number 4 under new?
Under
Unfinished?
unfinished, I'm sorry.
Under 4? Okay. Postpone. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
And probably under unfinished, since I brought it up at the last meeting, I would like to add a discussion of tree trimming again.
I'll second that. Isn't that new business?
I don't know. I
Yes.
brought it up last week under new business. I don't know if it's new or
Not on
old.
there again, so.
Okay.
What's
Made
it
second.
under?
Any others? Yes,
What's
Ms.
it
Perkypile.
under?
Tree
Under
trimming would be under
the
new.
minutes, approval of the minutes would be for August 11th date, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
It is August 11th. Okay. Anything else in the agenda? If not, all in favor of the...
wait.
Yes, sir.
The appraisal for the fire stations, I don't think we have that, so.
You don't what?
We don't have that, so I don't think
Okay.
we need that right
Postpone?
now. Under new business, yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
No. Don't confuse me. Never mind.
Okay. Last chance. All in favor of the amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same line. Okay. All right. Approval of the minutes for August the 11th, 2014.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Changes, deletions, corrections? If not, all in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Brings us to Commission Committee Authority reports, expired terms. Don't have anything for planning. Steve Beacham is expired. Mickey, what are your plans on planning?
I'm just
In limbo? Okay.
I'm temporary through the summer.
All right. CAPC was asked to add, by the CAPC, Dustin Dooling as a potential new candidate. or
Motion
new-
to approve, Mr. Dooley.
We don't have an application? We don't get those anymore?
We don't get those from
That comes
Oh,
through.
from CAPC.
comes from
CAPC, yes.
Second.
That
Okay.
explains that.
Just,
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
CAPC is different than all the other commissions because the commissioners choose a person. So,
They
I mean,
choose, we
basically,
approve.
it's a tacit approval on our part, but
So they will, they want it, we
I
should
think
say
the
yes.
only-
it's
Vacant
different than all the
position,
other
too.
commissions.
It's Duling. Dustin Dooling.
Got it. I understand
Well,
that.
Charles has expired too.
Yeah, Charles Ragdell's expired 6/30/14.
So is Dustin going to be position 2?
They're probably position 2. They didn't tell me which one, but I'm assuming it's 2.
you always
It's the
have-
only one vacant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We've got another one that,
there's another one coming up.
yeah.
Okay.
that we-
Yeah, you
we've
always
gotta
have
wait
to
till
fill a
we can-
vacant seat
Okay.
before an
Process.
expired.
So we have a motion and a second. Do you want to go ahead and vote on it now, or you want to wait? Okay,
Yeah.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Mr. Dooling is the new CAPC member. Hospital, Suzanne Tourtelot, expired 6/1/14. She still sits on the commission. Parks, you were given an application on Mr. Joe Fitzsimmons last meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on Mr. Fitzsimmons before we vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Mr. Fitzsimmons is the new guy, position number 5. Nothing on HDC and nothing on cemetery other than one position vacant. Mr. Romanski has expired but still sits on the commission. So everybody on the commissions that know they're expired, we need to get you updated or replaced. Okay? All right, public comments. Richard Bricks. Hi, Richard Bricks.
Hi, Rachel Bricks, One Magnetic. I was starting to feel like I was having withdrawals, so I just had to come say hello.
oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I I just wanted to say on behalf of the dog park committee that the dog park has been open about 6 weeks now, and it's been doing very well. I've heard from tourists and locals alike that they're really enjoying it and things are going well. So I just wanted to update you folks on that. And then also, I noticed on the agenda tonight that there is, under new business, that you all are going to be discussing a workshop with council, CAPC, and the chamber possibly to talk about promoting tourism. So I have a suggestion that I would like to make. And that suggestion, before I tell you what it is, I need to kind of introduce something first. And this is Dog Fancy magazine. If you have not seen it or know about it, it's generally regarded as the world's most widely read magazine for dogs. It's got a circulation, paid subscriptions of 250,000, and then you add the newsstand stuff, and you're looking at a readership of about 300,000 folks per year. And I know numbers are big, and I know that 2 of our council people are on CAPC, so this is kind of directed at you also. And it's been in circulation for almost 50 years. And in 2013, we were featured. They have a contest each year for the top 5 dog-friendly cities in the country. And folks vie for those positions. And the top winner gets $5,000 for local rescue. And in 2013, Eureka Springs was featured. I wrote a letter, and then they ask you if they think you're dog-friendly enough that they ask you to fill out a survey. You fill out that survey, and then they score you. And Eureka Springs was chosen in 2013. And they invited me to reapply this year, and we were again chosen for 2014. Yay, top 5. So that means 300,000 folks are receiving this magazine, seeing Eureka Springs as a family, family, of course, destination, as well as a dog destination. But I also was able to give a lot of shout-outs to local businesses. Blackie's Backyard, Glory Bees, New Delhi, Lake Leatherwood, as a matter of fact, as being dog-friendly. I mean, just it's a really good way to get people's names out there. And another thing that's really good about it is that this advertising was all free, with a capital F. The only thing that I would like to suggest based on this is to I don't know if the CAPC can do it or council can do it or whomever can do it, but if you enter these contests and you can win, it doesn't cost anything, and you've got a lot of exposure to a lot of different folks, whether you want to do wedding magazines, maybe there's photo contests, essay contests, surveys. It's just a market that I think we can tap into without spending any money. And not that y'all haven't already thought of it, but I just thought, being relatively new, that it was a good way to get kind of shouts out there to everybody. And I'd also like to make a final suggestion that if council would consider at some point poop stations around town, they would be relatively inexpensive, and they could be affixed to garbage cans in town to encourage folks, especially tourists, to use them. And I know the Preservation Society at one time had expressed an interest in possibly helping with that. So I just wanted to make those suggestions. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good to see all of you.
Okay. We missed you.
Don't say Rock Street.
Okay.
James?
That'll do it for public comments. Moves us to unfinished business. Number 1, update on disposal of yard waste. Motion to discuss.
Motion, discuss.
Second.
Floor is open.
Just really quick update. I've got 2 different people that I'm going to be calling hopefully in the next week or so. We're having one of these major yard waste problems because of the burn ban in regards to polluting the air and even leaves and yada yada. But our coal plants all have permits to bypass the current law, and I don't understand it because I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. I think burning leaves is a whole lot better than burning coal, but that's me. So I have 2 people I need to contact in regards to trying to work something out in regards to burning our yard waste because our poor guys have nowhere to take it. So that's the update. 2 people to contact.
Right.
That's it.
Any further? If not, moves us on number 2, which is postponed. Moves us to number 3 will be the 3rd reading of Ordinance 2216. Motion to discuss.
Second.
Floor is open. Mr. DeVito.
Move to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2216 on its 3rd reading by title only.
Second.
Stand by. Have a roll call vote.
Mr. McClung,
Yep.
Mr. Perkypile,
Yes.
Mr. DeVito,
Yes.
Ms. Zeller, Ms.
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
6-0. An ordinance amending the zoning of certain real property within the corporate city limits of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, commonly known as the old high school property. Ordinance 2216, my apology.
Mr. Vino.
Move to approve ordinance number 2216 on its third reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Yeah. Roll call.
Oh, we got to do the roll call again, okay.
Mr. DeVito,
Yes.
Ms. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Zeller,
Yes.
Mr. McClung,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Perkypile,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. That moves us on to number 5.
Move to discuss.
Second.
Floor's open.
Where are we at on that?
Nothing.
Just waiting on a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may,
Yes, you may.
I spoke with Chief Hyatt, and he says that he has had a meeting with Jimmy Kelly and with the fire department, and the fire department is supposed to have got you a letter or getting you a letter that indicates that it cannot be done.
What
Should have
cannot
one of
be
these
done?
in your packet.
What cannot be done?
Adding a
Street's
parking,
not wide enough.
Parking
zone,
permit,
Oh,
so to speak?
done.
There you go.
because the street is too narrow to allow for any obstruction at all of the fire lane by adding a zone or even a temporary stoppage.
Well, so if we have a band that's there and they have an equipment vehicle pulling up to that back door to haul stuff in,
It's illegal.
According to what I understand, the only thing we could do would be to widen that street. It is currently 12 feet, and it needs to be, I believe they told me, 24 feet to allow for a parking zone.
but I mean, in the meantime, if we have somebody sitting there unloading, we can't expect them to walk like from the side all the way around, I would assume.
Temporary unloading, we can work around. It's just when they can't park there after they unload.
Okay, well, I thought that was all it was anyway. Wasn't it just a 1 hour thing?
But we can't establish it as a.
Oh,
As
so
a
we
loading
can do
zone.
like a verbal 1 hour. We can't
We can
do
have
a
some of the
written-
traffic control guys help them get in their stuff, but then they got to
Okay.
park it. Yes,
Okay.
sir, Mr. Plum.
In the information that we received from the fire department, I got it, I assume all of you
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
There was a
Everybody should
letter
have
there from Jimmy Kelly that basically says that we have permission to use it for just that, you know, that
Yeah,
and it's referring to buses, but it can be a bus, it can be a semi, it can be any vehicle for in and out to pull in there, take care of business, then move. And that's all we're after anyway, is so they don't get tickets
Right.
while they're back there. And that has been the problem. There has been some ticketing going on. So I think what we need to impress on whoever is taking care of that is that they need to notify the fire department and the police department that this is when we're loading, it's, you know, and this is when we'll be here. And so, and then, you know, if they procrastinate and don't move like they should, then they probably should get a ticket.
Yeah.
But I think that they're going to get in and get out like they're supposed to. So I mean, if we can't necessarily have an ordinance, and I'm not really sure I understand that, but we've already got a letter on file that gives us permission to do basically what we're asking. Don't you think, James? Is that how you read that?
Yeah, basically, there's just going to have to be somebody there with the vehicle while they load in and out, and they just can't be parking and walking away from the
Yeah,
vehicle.
yeah.
And
The vehicle of the driver has to be, yeah,
Able to move.
You
yeah.
have to be with your vehicle the whole time.
Good. That works.
No. Okay. Any further on that one? If not, move to number 6, update on parking garage workshops. Motion to discuss.
so moved.
Second.
Floor is open, Mr. DeVito.
Well, we broke ground on discussion of the parking garage, which I went through all of that information we had at the workshop and collated it down to basically this feasibility study from Southwest Missouri State University. A lot of the other information was outdated. A lot of the figures and facts were no longer valid. What did occur since we talked about this first at the City Council was the Democrat Gazette ran a story, 49, the Fayetteville TV station ran a story on it, Springfield ran a story on it, KUAF ran a story on it. Where I was interested in going with this, and we talked about getting grants and stuff, and I don't know if y'all got this in your... day before yesterday, the Walton Foundation announced that they are going to be spending $300 million in the next 5 years in northwest Arkansas and the Delta region. As soon as KUAF gets the link up, I'll email you all the link, because there was a comprehensive discussion about the Walton Foundation and what their criteria was for grants. And we could tick off almost 4 different items: downtown revitalization, infrastructure demands, promoting the arts. I forget what the 4th one was, but we could basically have 3 or 4 of their major criteria for funding, and it's possible, they could fund the entire parking garage. They gave the city of Siloam Springs $2.5 million for the little water park they built. So this has just been announced. If we can continue on with this and get like an artist rendering, some of the details about how many spaces it would require. I don't know if Worldwide Parking is still in Harrison or not, but they worked with us before when we talked about this, because they build parking garages all over the world. And I'll try and get with them to attend one of our meetings so that we can get some up-to-date numbers. I did get the whole package on the parking garage that they just broke ground for Monday in Fayetteville. All of the schematics on the parking garage, all the background, all the layout of the parking garage. They track pretty close to what we're doing. The Walton Arts Center needed more parking. They have a dynamic downtown, Dixon Street, that needed more parking, and that's why they're building their parking garage. It's very similar to where we find ourselves as a community. So I'll be emailing you that. I'll be emailing you the link to KUAF where they discuss what the grant from the Walton family are going to be contingent on. And I don't know that they've done any big things for Eureka Springs that I can remember, so we should be ripe for them coming here. Just as a side note, one of the parking garages I looked at in Savannah, on the ground level they had a narrow facade. I think it was maybe 8 to 10 feet deep, so that as you walk by the garage it looked just like another storefront. That was the 4th thing, was if we can get the Walton Foundation to put up the money. One of the other criteria they are asking for is promotion of Crystal Bridges. We could, in effect, allow them to have that space on the ground level as a tourist information center for Crystal Bridges. So we could tick off 4 different items that could fulfill their criteria for grants. So that's kind of the avenue that I would like us as as a council to proceed with. And I'll get all this information to you in the next week, and you can listen to it at your own leisure. And I would like to continue this as a topic on our agenda. So I'll make that motion to continue this for the next agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So it carries on. Moves us to new business. Number 1's been postponed. Leads us to number 2, discussion of public works need for new sewer camera and jetter. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open. Mr. Perkdahl.
It's come to my attention, and I think we've known this for a while, that the jetter, the current jetter that the city has it's really dilapidated. It only generates about 300 psi pressure, which for a proper jetter you need 3,000, 3,500 psi minimum. And so it really does not perform its function.
So it's taking a dump.
Sir?
It's taking a dump.
What does the jetter do? Explain
is a
to us.
jetter?
That's humor, Perkdahl. That's humor.
Yeah, I got it. I thought you said let's take it to the dump.
No.
No, I heard what he said, but I don't know what it
It'd be
does.
recycled.
Let's move along now.
The jetter is just high pressure water that's jetted down a sewer system to it kind of rods it out. It kind of flushes it out. Any obstructions, roots, small roots, anything like that that's stopping proper sewage flow, gravity flow.
Nelly
So it needs to be
Going
done
back
because
to
it's just a.
reference that, of course.
Sir?
I was just going back to the Nellie Clark incident with the jetter.
Okay. Well,
So everybody knows.
so the problem is that a city of this size and this age, we really need to have a machine to do that, a proper machine. Having gone over the budget just recently, as we have been, I see that that's going to be a task, a challenge, but I really think we need to get something done there. Our alternative is to hire private plumbers that have really nice jetter trucks, but that cost is, while it's not as costly as the initial capital cost of a jetter,
Which is?
we don't know yet. Don't have those numbers. I just want us to be talking about this and thinking about it because I think it's going to come up. It'll definitely come up next year. I won't be here next year, but I just want to get the ball rolling. The second part of that, and intrinsic to that, maintenance of our sewers is a sewer camera. We've been back and forth trying to fix the one that we currently have, and it's
No bueno.
it's basically dead on arrival. We thought we could borrow one from Holiday Island, and theirs had the same problem. We need something that's got extensive reach and has a camera that we can actually use, and we've got problems with that too. So I see those as two items that we need to look at for next year because we can't just ignore it. I mean, say for instance, just in the last 2 weeks, I've received a couple of calls from citizens that said, "Listen, we've blown the caps off these your city main here in my backyard 2 or 3 times, and I haven't, I've called about it, and what can we do about it?" Well, that's kind of when I found out about all this. I'd known that the jetter was underpowered for some time, so we need to consider these as probably some line items. I'll come back to council. I want to put this back on for next meeting, and I'll come back with some numbers from Dwayne on the costs. So I'd like to make a motion to do that.
Second.
Are they rebuildable?
We've rebuilt them and rebuilt them and rebuilt them. At a certain point, you cannot, they get to an age where you can't rebuild them, and we need new equipment.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any possibility on this camera of us sharing with the island? Or we buy one new one to
The
share
islands
between
doesn't
the
work
two?
either.
No, where we buy a new one, but we share the price between
Could
the
be.
two?
Could
I mean,
possibly.
so this isn't something we need 24/7, a camera. I mean,
Well,
so it'd be feasible to share with Holiday Island.
I mean, you hardly need anything 24/7, but we need to have something that we can use on a frequent basis.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this would be a possibility.
Could be.
What
I don't know.
does this camera do?
I don't know how we'd work it out with the city.
It'd just be an intergovernmental agreement between the two,
Okay.
and then we could work out the details.
What does it do?
It's
The
an
camera,
actual-
you
shows-
stick the camera down through there and you find obstructions, roots, cracks. You find out what kind of conduit you have. It could be an old cracked clay conduit or wooden. We've got some that are wooden. You know, asbestos. You know, we've got some that are just, they're not all PVC.
Well,
And
it
even the
has a
PVC
light
one's
on
cracked.
it, and it photographs the inside of the pipe,
Yeah,
so you can
yeah,
see
it's
what
like a little snake, and you send it
Like
down
a
there,
colonoscopy.
and it's exactly like a colonoscopy.
There you go. That's a good analogy.
Or an endoscopy.
That I understand.
Go
Okay,
up top.
we're ready to go now.
Let's go up top.
Anyway, I'd like to make that motion, put this back on the agenda
Okay.
to discuss,
think I
come back with
seconded.
numbers.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion's back on.
One.
Moves us to number 3, discussion about workshop with CAPC and Chamber of Commerce to improve tourism.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Floor is open.
Okay, I just want to get this ball rolling here. I don't know if there's anything wrong, with where we are, the status of tourism here in the city, and the direction that advertisement for the city is going. But it seems like the city is dependent upon tourism dollars for tax revenue, and we can see that I'm hearing, but we can see that there's been a downturn, and there's not been an upturn per se in revenues, and I think it'd be appropriate to have a workshop and bring in the CAPC, bring in the Chamber of Commerce, and bring in representatives of the city. And when I say that, just be representatives, not everybody at this table, and not everybody with the CAPC, and this is not a finger-pointing session. This is just something like, first off, let's get a status quo. Where are we? What's going on? Do we feel we're headed in the right direction? If so, then okay, let's continue on. What's our plan to go forward? If we feel like we could improve or we're not going in the right direction, then let's come up with a plan to redirect ourselves and try to put the city on a good track. We need tourism. That's what we're all about. We need those. The city desperately needs the revenue, and we can see that just in our budget review here. So, I'd like to move to have a workshop set up as soon as we can, reasonably do so.
I'll second that.
Mr. Snyder?
Why the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, the chamber is in the same business.
No.
They're private, but they are in the same business. They do much the same thing that the CAPC does.
Okay, they're a private entity in regards to they represent the city businesses who are members. The CAPC
Yes,
is
Mickey.
totally autonomous.
I'm not trying to be controversial. I
No,
just
I
want
know.
to bring
I
them
just
all
wanna make
together.
sure that everybody understands there's a
This-
major difference on those two entities.
Okay.
Understood.
This is all stuff that we talked about at the workshop.
That's correct.
This is
But-
just to get on the
Good
agenda.
luck.
I have a comment about the workshop. The Chamber of Commerce does a great deal with marketing, and so does the CAPC, I assume. But I think that if we have this initial meeting between just these people involved in this, the officials or something or other, then I think that we have to have another meeting where the business community has an opportunity to give us input, because I got a lot of emails about this, and there's a lot of discussion about marketing, and I think there are a lot of ideas in this town, and there's a lot of talent, and I think that at this point in time, this is such a hot button topic with the people that are trying to make a living here, that they need an opportunity to be able to be heard. So I think we probably have to think in terms of 2 meetings.
One meeting, one thing if you
initially to get our
call
ducks in a row and then have
Start
a
with
meeting
one.
that's open to the
Public
public.
forum.
We can't do it all at the same meeting because
Shouldn't.
we'd be there for 6 hours.
Mr. Mitchell?
The tourism obviously translates over to the economic future of Eureka Springs, and tourism is a major driver of our economy, is something that should emanate from the council who was elected for the health, safety, welfare of this town and the fiscal responsibility. So to develop a mechanism, be it a workshop, maybe eventually a committee that takes this on, because it's going to be more than just a couple of workshops, and create an environment with major players initially sitting at the table in the right size group, inviting in as it progresses along the various interest groups to have input into it. But at that table, definitely the CAPC, the chamber, a couple of council reps, possibly the mayor, maybe a couple of business people, and at least maybe one pure nothing but a resident at least. And that's not carved in stone or nothing. That's just an opportunity. At some point, you would want that. Right now, Mr. Perkypile's idea of a workshop with that limited audience is fine to have some preliminary discussions. That's absolutely true. But you can count on the fact that to take this into build it into even nothing more, maybe a planning document, some kind of a map where then the CAPC, the chamber, and the council will all be singing from the same hymnal, if we want to say, basically, about what it is that we have, where we are going, and how we plan on getting there, so that we have one major voice from everything, I think is very important for the future of this city. We all know the economic impact that we have from other cities. We know how the economy's going. We know if we went to war and the gas prices doubled, what would happen to us. I mean, there's a lot of things out there, and that's not to be a naysayer, but it is good to have a plan and have the stakeholders at the table, and then to get input from others. But again, I think the council, the CAPC, and the chamber, and little modification is a good start. And Mr. Perkypile's idea is an excellent one, and I totally support it and look forward to some very good conversations. I had the opportunity the other day to sit down with Mike Moyer at lunch, and I asked him about Mike Maloney, Jack Moyer.
Yeah, which one was it, Mike or Jack?
Well, actually, it was Mike Maloney, but I did also get the opportunity to sit down with Jack Moyer, and I also will be sitting down with Mike Bishop here soon, very soon, having some discussion preliminarily about what they were seeing, and the interest on the part of those people that the small selected group that I talked to was phenomenal. And the interest in getting together and being able to have a discussion with council members so that we were all going the same place was phenomenal. Mike provided me with the CAPC vision for 2015, which I found to be absolutely fascinating. I certainly do not want to sit down and have a discussion with Mike or anybody at the CAPC about marketing. I'm not a marketing person, and yeah, we may have some talent in town, but you know what? I think that is a little too into the business of the organizations in town to be sitting down at this level at council and discussing how they're marketing. That's kind of like, we need to leave them at that level. We have representatives there, and we just need to say, let's just get going and move on it. But I wouldn't want to be sitting down in a meeting and trying to tell the CAPC how to market, and I wouldn't want to be telling the chamber how to do their business. But I would like to sit down in a meeting and have a discussion where we all know where we're going, and they come back with the ideas of what they need to achieve the goal that we've all set. Because I certainly don't want to be doing somebody's marketing or their business for them. Likewise, I was provided probably one of the best documents I've seen in a long time, the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism 2015 Fall-Winter Advertising and Promotion Marketing Proposal. And an opportunity talking to Mike Maloney again, and how that's utilized by the CAP. See, there's a lot of really good stuff out there. So, yes to the workshop.
Any further? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am having a problem in regards to the chamber represents private paid membership. The CAPC represents the city. And you're asking us, the council, to tell them we're having a workshop? We can't do that, I don't think. We
Yes, we
can
can.
ask them.
We're asking them. We're not telling anybody
we can
anything.
ask, guys, would you mind getting together? You know, maybe we just need to do some brainstorming. But I'm serious. I'm having a real. These are two totally different
He
animals.
volunteered it, Nick. He actually, when I sat down with
I'm
him,
having
he
a real
volunteered.
problem with this.
We need like 6 different
Mr.
people,
McClung.
not just 2.
We could have a chain gang from Cummings come to a workshop if we wanted to. It doesn't matter. We can invite anybody we want.
It's a public.
And the Chamber of Commerce
Yeah,
is
we can invite
and then-
someone. We cannot tell them.
We're about to vote on this.
We're not
so-
telling anybody
Yeah.
anything.
That's what I just
Okay.
said. We don't have the right to tell them we're having a workshop.
Any further on this
For bringing that to our attention.
regarding germane issues? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Present.
All right. Moves to number 4, tree trimming.
Sorry.
Motion to discuss.
Oh, tree trimming. Move to discuss.
Second.
Floor's open.
Okay. When I brought this up at the last meeting 2 weeks ago, I was informed we can't do anything about it. Go away, little girl. Okay. In our code book, page 68 is where my start. Chapter 4.04, electric franchise, starts on page 67. The parts I have highlighted are only a few, but they seem to make an awful lot of legal sense to me. Do you have a book? Can you look at somebody's? Can he borrow your book for a minute?
What is it you're wanting?
Page 68.
Maybe I want to look at it.
Whatever, I don't care. Has anybody taken time to drive around, walk around all different kinds of areas of
Yes.
I
town?
printed those off for my reference, so let him borrow those.
68.
Yeah, page 68.
I gave
Starts
you a copy.
starting there.
Terry.
So he's going, so you can look at it. And you know, it really looks like out of all the crews that are here, a couple of them are experienced, know what they're doing. The others don't know squat, and they haven't bothered to mix the two together, so half know and train, and half don't know and learn. This apparently is not happening. I'm sorry, but trees are being massacred, left and right. That's all there is to it. I had a 5-year trim done over my house on those trees when they put a new roof on, and this is a lot worse than a 5-year trim. My husband's initial response to, what do you mean they're tree trimming? A couple of weeks ago when it started, don't you dare, was if you want to kill a tree, do a major trim in the hot summertime. So under page 68, under B, 4.04.02, rights and responsibilities, under B, what I have highlighted is grantees or successors and assigns shall replace, repair at its own expense all excavation holes or other damage caused or done by them to public streets, ways, places, and public property in the construction, operation, and maintenance of their facilities. So if the tree trimmers cause a problem, they've got to fix it. And by the way, this ordinance is excellent in covering the city. Okay? Positively excellent. Grantees under C, the next one down, grantees are hereby given the right, authority, and permission to trim, cut, and remove portions of trees, shrubbery, or growth growing on private property, but overhanging or encroaching on the public lines, on the public ways, places, and public property, which interfere with or offer hazards to the construction, operation, or maintenance of the facilities. See electric lines. So if you're in my yard, and thank goodness I don't have lines on my property, if you're in my yard and I have a tree overhanging the line, you have the right to trim it. If it is not overhanging it or threatening it or being hazardous to that line, you better, by golly, not touch that trim. Yes, sir.
That is over their right of way.
Yes.
That is
What is their right of way?
right of way varies by the size of the transmission line.
Uh-huh.
From 10 feet to 25 feet from either side of that line.
Now, my understanding, this is why I wanted you to have copies. My understanding on footage is it's the 10 feet or the 20 feet, whatever, in all four directions, left, right, top, bottom, horizontally and vertically. From the edge of the street, if it's 20 feet, there's no way. That's what's in our regulations, because if it goes from the edge of the street 20 feet in the middle of somebody's yard, that's not anything we would ever approve. Now, we may have special limitations, we have special wording, but no, it is not horizontally, vertically all the same amount. That's what I'm trying to say. When you have a shrub tree, an ornamental that doesn't get over 10 foot, and they're cutting those things to the bare bones because there's a power line 20 feet above them, no, that's murder.
No.
Yes, it is.
Unfortunately, that doesn't go 20 feet from the line down. It goes all the way to the dirt. And those are right-of-ways that were purchased or created when those power lines were put in there between the property owner and the power company. They're not given necessarily by the city. If they were occupied, if the property was owned by the city at the time, they came from the city. But if they're private property, they're originated with the private property owner.
So
And
when
they
somebody
can clear
buys, like when I bought,
Let him
so
finish,
when I
Mickey.
bought my
Mickey,
land,
let him finish. Let him
am.
finish. You asked him a question.
Your particular property, apparently, you said doesn't have a power line.
Thank God.
But if you look at someone whose deed does have a property line or power line, it's going to have an easement
That's
for that
what I
power
know.
line, and that includes clearing all the way.
So
the
what?
dirt.
So what you're saying is, the general normally, the right of way is this 20-foot horizontal and vertical, and I'm saying no. I'm saying EUREKA did not do that.
EUREKA didn't do anything.
I mean, that's
if
saying
it was
that.
created between the property owner
But that,
and
well,
the
that's
power company.
whether it's our property or private property, there is no way throughout this whole town, all these lines that were put, I'll bet money that there was never any agreement like that almost. There is,
Point of order.
The way
are we
the
going?
trees
Are we
are.
going somewhere with this?
the way
That's
the
what I'm
trees
waiting to hear.
are, there is no way that nobody is allowed to have trees growing on their property in the front of it, okay? So we have all this. If they aren't threatening, if they aren't overhanging, you can't touch it on private property, period. That's what our thing says. It doesn't say per right-of-way footage. It says if it's on private property, it better be overhanging or threatening or they can't touch it. It does not say unless the right-of-way is encroached upon. It does not say that. Look at that, C. All right, under 4.04.05, very first beginning lines. In the construction, operation, and maintenance of its facilities, grantees shall use reasonable and proper precaution to avoid damage or injury to persons or property while maintaining. Destroying our trees in the #1 tree city of the state and a top tree city in the country is not proper precaution nor reasonable.
Mr. Mitchell.
I think our Madam Clerk sent us an email today that there's some type of agreement with SWEPCO coming to our attention to look at. So we obviously don't have all of the data we need to continue this conversation, which has a high emotional input. So I call the question.
There's no
What
motion.
question?
I can't call the question.
Let me
It's a
interject
discussion.
something here that two of the SWEPCO representatives, Mr. Jeff Milford and Mr. Chuck Easterling, are currently corresponding with different people around town who, as we ask, if you have pictures, a legitimate complaint, then you forward them to us and we forward them on to Mr. Easterling or Mr. Milford. That has been done. They are making contact with these folks and having dialogue between themselves. How many, I don't know. That's between SWEPCO and the individuals. But we just kind of act as a booster and got the process started.
Could I make a comment on one of those discussions they had with one of our people?
Do you know that it happened directly?
Yeah.
Pardon.
Yes, it would be hearsay.
Third hand
It's called
hearsay.
hearsay.
Thank you.
I'd rather not.
Yeah. Let's just say
It
that
wasn't polite.
they are talking. Okay.
A little late. Okay.
What else?
Okay, so either as a further discussion or to add to the next one, we need to do something to protect our trees and our property from future trimming. That's the whole point of this discussion. They are murdering our trees. I don't care if I'm the only tree hugger here. They have gone way beyond. But we need to be able to do something to protect our trees, our property from this kind of thing. If nothing else, then to have at least a 2 or more week heads up to the local people, letting them know the trimmers are coming. And it would be really nice if the trimmers spoke English so that people can stand there and say, no, you're not cutting it.
Wait a minute.
I think we've discussed this
yeah,
long
I think
enough.
that horse is dead enough.
Okay, so can we at least have this on for discussion and have the city attorney look into what steps we can take in regards to a heads up, some kind of protection from over trimming? We'll leave it at over trimming.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's what I want to do. We need to be able to take steps to protect our trees and our people. That's what we're here for.
There's a
We're supposed to be
second?
protecting the people.
I'm having trouble. Clarify that whatever that motion was you were attempting.
Okay, I make a motion that we have a further discussion with the city attorney's input in regards to what steps can we take for proper notification to the local people and any other steps or procedures to protect our trees from over manipulation.
Yes, sir.
Reword as you want.
Mr. Bricktown.
Do we have a second yet, or are we in
Second.
discussion?
Second.
I distinctly remember getting some notification in the mail that SWEPCO would be sending crews through to trim trees.
Did you? I didn't.
I did.
That's my question.
I've never
Don't
heard
they
of
send a
anything like
notice?
And I'm seeing some other, yes,
They do? 'Cause
Yes.
I'm not concerned. I don't have a dog in the sun, but don't
yeah. So, I mean, persons were told,
Okay.
given
Agree.
notice.
So back to the vote. We have a motion
serious.
and a second. Any further discussion on it? All in favor of putting this back on the agenda for discussion again? Say
I
aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. 5-1. Moves us to agenda setting. Mr. DeVito.
I have 2 items. One, to adopt an anti-discrimination ordinance now that Fayetteville's done all the hard work. And it's good to have something in place. We never discriminate against gay, lesbian, transgendered.
Sex, race, national origin,
It's
the whole thing.
There's a lot of loopholes. Classes of people are not protected. Fayetteville has just passed the first anti-discrimination in the state of Arkansas, and we should be the second city to pass it. So I'd like to basically get a copy of the Fayetteville's anti-discrimination ordinance and see how we can craft it to Eureka Springs.
Second.
The second topic is discussion of the clerk/treasurer's office.
that it?
Yeah, basically the treasurer part of it.
I'll second that, although I don't know where we're going.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Okay. Mr. McClung.
I think we need to continue with the hospital discussion to stay on track with the bonding company. I feel that it is the city's responsibility to follow up with the bonding company to confirm that the potential of that the ability for the city to refinance in 2015 the bonds and add the additional 1.5 that we talked about can be accomplished. So in doing that, then I think that puts the burden on the hospital or on the hospital management company to sit down and prepare a contract.
Is that not part of the resolution that we just passed?
Where is that resolution?
Well, I talked to Lonnie about it the other day, and I asked him if he had heard from the bonding company. He said, "Well, it's really not their move." I said, "Well, I think it is."
No, it's
The
not.
bonding company recommended that we wait into 2015 because we'd be making so many more payments before then, and nobody's breaking ground or looking to move on it.
That's not the interpretation I have.
I thought we did a resolution, which was the first step to let Allegiance know that we were ready to go to the dance with them, and then we would then enter a. I don't know if I want to dance with, but anyway, then we would probably work on the contractual. And I thought that the bonding company said that they would be better to start working on the bonds in 2015, and we would have it done before it was built. That's what I thought.
All right. So we don't want to get into a full-blown discussion.
Right.
Here. Yeah.
So I would
So
like
you
to
want
put
that
it
back on the agenda?
agenda.
Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Mitchell?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, was there a second one, Mr. McClung? Okay, that's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, I did.
Okay. Nothing, Mr. Mitchell?
No, sir.
Mr. Perkins?
I'd just like to make sure that we continue with the discussion, Public Works, sewer camera and jetter, and then that's it.
Thank you, sir.
And you'll talk to
Ms.
the
Snyder.
island about sharing?
This time.
Okay, let's see. Fluoride and tree trimming is on. The fire station thing, that'll automatically be put on, right?
It's still on there. It's just
Okay,
postponed.
that's what I want. Okay, that's it.
Ms. Eller?
I don't have anything.
Council comments, Commissioner DeVito. Mr. McClung?
Just two quick things. One, it's been brought to my attention, and I haven't really noticed, but the fountain at the top of Painter Hill is not working.
There is some plumbing issues with it. When it was constructed, apparently, according to Smitty, there was some issues with the builder and materials used. That's all I got out of it.
I don't really know what that means. I guess maybe I can call him and ask him.
You can talk to Smitty.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Since it's not an agenda item yet, we can't really
Yeah.
discuss it.
Second thing is, I know there's a street light still out at the top of Black Bass. They're at the top of the,
Okay.
at 62 and the road going down to Black Bass.
Okay.
If we could get that addressed, I think that's,
Mr. Mitchell?
Nothing.
Mr. Perkins?
Nothing.
Mr. Snyder?
Congratulations to my 2-year-old granddaughter on her 3 blue ribbons at Washington County Fair. And the grandson who got 1, tomorrow expect that to be changed as food. Just the opposite. That's it.
Ms. Eller?
Yeah, because I've been sitting here thinking about marketing. If everyone has not seen that YouTube film that was done by a local person on GeekFest, they should make an effort to see it. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of marketing done to banjo music. I don't know who was responsible for the writing and the choice of the photographs, but it is absolutely extraordinary. And if we're talking about grassroots and bootstrap marketing, everybody should make an effort to see that. It is on the GeekFest agenda, but I suppose you can also find it on YouTube. And if somebody doesn't have the link for it, email me and I'll send you the link if you can't get it off of GeekFest. But it's absolutely an extraordinary piece of marketing for Eureka Springs.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
David Hager.
David Hager did that.
that's not banjo, that's ukulele.
Okay.
What's the thread?
Under my comments, I would like to invite or ask every citizen in Eureka Springs to come into the courthouse and pick up a copy of the Hazard Mitigation Plan survey. Please fill it out. We need this to go along with our finalizing our mitigation plan, our hazard mitigation plan. They are available in the City Hall
Is there one?
by the front desk. Okay, and this is what it looks like. It says Hazard Mitigation Plan Public Opinion Survey, Eureka Springs 2014. It's,
Is it in here?
no.
It's downstairs.
You have to be a resident.
I'm not sure. I don't
I
think,
think so
think,
because the
Specify
plans
that
for
requirement.
city limits.
I don't think it actually says you have to be a
There's
resident, so.
not a requirement.
This mitigation plan does involve our EMS emergency systems, which does go outside the city limits for the time being. Then probably disconnect it. Anyway, turn them in. They'll do what the Osage group will do what they have to with them, and we'll go from there. Next, I have a list of activities. August 27th through 30th is Banjo Rally. August the 30th is Robert Cray, that's C-R-A-Y, in Concert Auditorium, 8 p.m. September the 1st is City Offices Are Closed. Yay. September the 5th and 6th is the Antique Auto Festival. Parade is 11 o'clock. September 5th and 6th is the Woodcarvers Jamboree, Pine Mountain Village. September the 6th is Drumming in the Park at 6 p.m. September the 7th is Eureka Springs Classic Movie Night at the Auditorium, Greece, 7 p.m. That's all I have, unless you can think of anything, Diane. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're out of here.
And there they go again. Oh my God.